The Los Angeles Lakers began their 2025-26 preseason with a reality check, suffering a 103-81 loss to the Phoenix Suns on Friday night in Palm Springs. The scoreboard told a clear story. The Lakers have work to do, but as is often the case in the early days of October basketball, the real story goes beyond the numbers. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. The night had its positives, and chief among them was the performance of Austin Reaves. From the opening tip, Reaves looked locked in. He played with confidence, rhythm, and purpose, reminding fans and teammates alike that he is more than capable of being a steady scoring option. He poured in 20 points, including 18 in the first half, and added 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Every time the Lakers needed a bucket in those opening quarters, it was Reaves who delivered. His early showing helped the Lakers stay competitive when the offense looked shaky. Rui Hachimura also put together a solid outing, finishing with 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. His physicality and willingness to defend gave the Lakers some much-needed balance, though it wasn't enough to change the outcome. But not everyone found their footing. DeAndre Ayton, expected to be an anchor in the paint, struggled to establish himself offensively. He scored only 1 point, but to his credit, he impacted the game in other areas, pulling down 8 rebounds and swatting 2 shots. Nights like this will raise questions, but it's also part of what preseason is for: finding rhythm, building chemistry, and adjusting to the system. If there was one encouraging development outside of Reaves, it was the bench production. RJ Davis seized his chance, scoring 14 points and showing flashes that could earn him more minutes in the rotation as the preseason unfolds. Bronny James, still at the beginning of his NBA journey, chipped in with 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Jake LaRavia added 7 points and 5 boards, while Jackson Hayes matched that output with 7 points and 5 rebounds of his own. These contributions from the bench didn't swing the game, but they gave head coach JJ Redick plenty to evaluate moving forward. The real turning point came after halftime. The Lakers went into the break, trailing by 13, still within striking distance. But in the third quarter, the Suns slammed the door shut. Devin Booker, Phoenix's star guard, took full control of the game. He scored 24 points on the night and orchestrated the offense with precision, adding 7 assists. The Lakers simply had no answer. Dillon Brooks, meanwhile, punished them from beyond the arc, knocking down every shot he took from deep. That combination, Booker's dominance and Brooks' perimeter accuracy, proved too much for a Lakers team that never rediscovered its rhythm. The statistics told an unforgiving story. Los Angeles shot just 31% from the field, a number that simply won't win games at any level, preseason or not. The offense stalled in half-court sets, and open looks failed to fall. On the defensive end, the Lakers struggled to contain Phoenix's spacing and ball movement. The result was a game that gradually slipped further and further out of reach. Still, perspective is key. Preseason games are not about wins and losses, they are about progress. For Redick, coaching his first preseason game at the helm of the Lakers, the focus is on experimentation, testing lineups, gauging player chemistry, and identifying who can handle bigger roles once the regular season begins. The effort of players like Reaves and Davis was an important step forward, even in defeat. There were also glimpses of what this team might become. Austin Reaves showed he is ready to take on a larger offensive role, something that will be crucial alongside veterans like LeBron James, now 40 years old, and Luka Doncic, the newly arrived star expected to form one of the league's most dynamic duos with him. Reaves' ability to score efficiently and create offense could be the factor that balances the Lakers' attack once the games start to matter. Meanwhile, players like Bronny James are beginning to carve out their place in the rotation. His 8 points may not leap off the page, but his rebounding, defense, and energy stood out. For a rookie under the spotlight of both his name and the Lakers brand, these are the small steps that matter most. As for the Suns, their performance sent an early message. Booker looked every bit the superstar, Brooks proved he can provide consistent spacing, and the team's depth was on full display. From Grayson Allen's 13 points to Jimmy Butler's 12 and the solid all-around contributions from Royce O'Neal and others, Phoenix played like a team already in midseason rhythm. The Lakers, by contrast, walked away with reminders of the challenges ahead. The shooting woes, the defensive lapses, and the lack of offensive flow all need to be addressed. But this is precisely what preseason is for, to expose weaknesses, highlight strengths, and give the coaching staff a chance to prepare. In the end, the scoreboard read Suns 103, Lakers 81, but the numbers don't tell the whole story. What matters more is that Austin Reeves looked ready to shoulder responsibility, the bench showed signs of life, and JJ Redick got his first taste of what adjustments must come next. The preseason is just beginning. The Lakers have time, and while the opener showed clear flaws, it also hinted at the building blocks that could carry them into the regular season. Final, Suns 103, Lakers 81. Preseason lessons learned, with plenty still to come. The Los Angeles Lakers are deep into training camp, and new head coach JJ Redick is making headlines, not for flashy plays, but for the way he is pushing his players to the limit. His goal is clear: get this roster into what he calls championship shape. And from the way practices have been described, it's becoming obvious why some of his players might not be too fond of him right now. From the very beginning, Redick has spoken about building an identity for this team. For him, identity starts with conditioning, pace, and accountability. He wants the Lakers to be a team that runs, whether it's off a defensive rebound, an inbound play, or in transition after a stop. Redick's vision is built on speed and energy, and he believes conditioning is the foundation that will allow that style to succeed over the long NBA season. That philosophy has been tested on the floor, and the results have been grueling. Luka Doncic, often unfairly labeled in league circles as a player who doesn't always arrive in peak condition, has found himself front and center in this conversation. But make no mistake, this isn't about one individual. This is about the entire roster being put through drills that test not just their physical fitness, but also their mental toughness. This past week, Redick ended practice with one of the toughest conditioning sessions the team has faced so far. Players were asked to run 6 full court lengths in 34 seconds. After a short pause, they were tasked with 10 court lengths in under a minute. And then, to close things out, another 6 lengths in 34 seconds. It was a brutal sequence, designed to push even the most conditioned athletes to their breaking point. Redick, speaking to reporters after the session, acknowledged the intensity with a smirk, saying, "I don't know if they like me right now." But for Redick, it's not just about running players until they collapse. He has a clear framework for evaluating whether his team is in shape. He explained it plainly. "There are 3 ways I look at whether we're in shape. First, are we sprinting back defensively? Second, are we playing with pace offensively, including crashing the glass and still recovering on defense? And third, are we being physical? If those 3 things are being done at a high level, then we're in shape." This approach has made the Lakers training camp one of the most demanding in recent memory. Multiple reports describe practices ending with conditioning intervals, strict time requirements, and very little margin for error. There's no jogging, no going through the motions. Either the team meets the standard or they start again. The message is clear. Championship habits are built through repetition, discipline, and shared sacrifice. Veteran guard Gabe Vincent has seen enough training camps to know that players don't usually enjoy this type of work, but instead of complaining, he framed it as a unifying experience. Speaking with local media, Vincent revealed what he told his coach. "I told JJ about a week or 2 ago, if we all hate you, but we all hate you collectively, that's great," he said with a laugh. "Obviously, no one wants to run at the end of a long practice, but we know the goal we've set for ourselves. We know what we're trying to accomplish, so we embraced it. We got the run in, and we all got better for it." That mindset, shared struggle leading to collective growth, might be exactly what Redick is aiming for. By pushing players beyond their comfort zone, he's not just testing stamina, he's testing unity. Can the group buy into the idea that suffering together now will pay dividends when the games matter most? The potential reward is enormous. If Redick's system takes hold, the Lakers could become one of the most dangerous transition teams in the league. Imagine an offense built around Luka Doncic's playmaking, Austin Reeves' versatility, and a 40-year-old LeBron James who still finds ways to dominate stretches of play. Add in a deep group of shooters spreading the floor, and the formula is there for an attack that overwhelms opponents with pace and precision. But Redick also knows this vision won't come easy. Conditioning drills are one thing in October, executing at a championship level in May and June is another. That's why he's hammering these principles now, long before the postseason pressure arrives. He wants his players to understand that every sprint, every rep, every grueling drill is a step towards something bigger. And while the players may groan, complain, or even joke about hating their coach during these sessions, the reality is that Redick's intensity could be the exact edge this Lakers team needs. Championships aren't won by talent alone. They're won by teams that are willing to outwork, out-hustle, and outlast their opponents. The early days of the Redick era in Los Angeles are showing that the Lakers are going to be tested like never before. The drills are brutal, the expectations are high, and the path is demanding. But if the team embraces the suffering, bonds through the challenge, and buys into the philosophy, the Lakers just might find themselves not only in championship shape, but also in championship contention. The Los Angeles Lakers are back in the spotlight as trade rumors swirl around the franchise. This time, the speculation centers on Sacramento Kings guard Keon Ellis, a player who has quietly built a reputation as one of the league's most efficient and underrated 3-and-D wings. With the 2025-26 NBA season on the horizon, reports suggest the Lakers are seriously considering a deal to bring Ellis to Los Angeles, a move that could redefine their championship outlook and strengthen their roster around Luka Doncic. The buzz began shortly after Doncic finalized his $165 million extension, confirming his commitment to the Lakers for the foreseeable future. The front office, led by general manager Rob Pelinka, is now tasked with surrounding Doncic with the right supporting pieces. Ellis, who is entering the final year of his contract and set to hit free agency in 2026, has emerged as one of the most intriguing targets available. At 25 years old, Ellis is entering his prime and possesses exactly the kind of skills that fit seamlessly alongside Doncic and LeBron James. So how might a deal between the Lakers and Kings take shape? According to multiple sources, Los Angeles is positioned to build a trade package around rookie wing Dalton Knecht, who is on a rookie-scale deal valued at roughly $4 million. Draft considerations would likely be part of the offer, giving Sacramento the flexibility to add future assets. For the Kings, the decision to entertain talks around Ellis comes down to priorities. With their focus on developing cornerstone talents like Keegan Murray and Jonathan Kuminga, Ellis represents their most realistic trade chip. From the Lakers' perspective, the upside is clear. Ellis would immediately strengthen their perimeter defense, one of the team's most glaring weaknesses last season. He also provides reliable shooting, having connected on an impressive 43.3% of his three-point attempts in the 2024-25 campaign. That level of efficiency makes him a perfect floor spacer for Doncic's playmaking and LeBron's all-around offensive versatility. Defensively, Ellis brings energy and versatility, averaging 1.5 steals per game and proving capable of guarding multiple positions across the perimeter. Sacramento, on the other hand, would benefit from the addition of Knecht, a young scorer with upside who fits the timeline of their younger core. The deal would also give them more draft flexibility, allowing them to shape their roster with both immediate depth and long-term planning. Importantly, it would also clear salary space as they prepare to lock in long-term deals for Murray and Kuminga. For Keon Ellis himself, a trade to the Lakers would represent a career-defining opportunity. Moving from Sacramento to Los Angeles means joining a championship contender, playing on one of the NBA's brightest stages, and stepping into a larger role where his skill set could shine. It also places him in position to secure a lucrative long-term extension, something every rising player hopes for. Breaking down the pros and cons, the balance is delicate but telling. For the Lakers, the pros include adding an elite perimeter defender, a reliable shooter, and a player whose age and contract value align with their roster needs. Ellis is only 25 years old and currently earns $2.3 million, making him both affordable and impactful. The downside for Los Angeles is the potential loss of Knecht and future draft picks, along with the fact that Ellis is not a primary offensive creator. For Sacramento, the advantages are clear. They acquire a young scorer with potential, add valuable draft capital, and keep the focus on Murray and Kuminga. The cost, however, is losing their top 3-and-D wing and weakening their depth at that position. For Ellis, the move is equally double-edged. On the positive side, he would join a team ready to contend for a title, enjoy increased visibility, and potentially lock in a long-term deal. On the negative side, he would need to adjust mid-season and handle the pressure of performing under the intense spotlight of Los Angeles. The numbers illustrate the situation further. Ellis, at 25 years old and 6'6", averaged 8.3 points per game last season while shooting 43.3% from 3, 48.9% overall, with 2.7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 1.5 steals. Dalton Knecht, 24, also 6'6", averaged around 5 points per game, shooting approximately 35% from 3 and 45% overall, with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and fewer than 1 steal per game. Luka Doncic, aged 26, continued his dominance with more than 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. earning $54 million. LeBron James, now 40 years old, still delivered more than 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists with a contract valued at $52 million. Ellis's shooting efficiency and defensive contributions make him a unique fit for the Lakers' current needs. Connect, while showing flashes of promise, has yet to reach that level of consistency or impact. For Los Angeles, the potential upgrade in both talent and roster fit is hard to ignore. The question then becomes, who ultimately wins this deal? Each party stands to gain something, but the immediate benefits tilt toward the Lakers. They would add a young, affordable player who directly addresses roster weaknesses and complements their 2 stars. Sacramento, while losing a key contributor, would strengthen its long-term flexibility and reinforce its strategy of building around its younger core. And Ellis would land in the most advantageous situation of his career, joining a championship-ready roster and gaining the platform to elevate his profile. If the trade becomes reality, it could be remembered as a calculated win for all sides. The Lakers would maximize their championship window, the Kings would solidify their future strategy, and Ellis would take the next step in his career on one of basketball's biggest stages. In the end, this potential deal embodies the balance of NBA trades. Los Angeles wins now, Sacramento prepares for tomorrow, and Keon Ellis gets the opportunity every rising player dreams of: